Interesting facts about the African buffalo. The African buffalo is a herbivorous animal with an appearance similar to a cow and a large body. It is known to be ill-tempered among animals, and its deadly attacks have become known as the Black Death and Quat. This animal, which is usually confused with the American buffalo, lives in a herd and can run at a high speed in contrast to its stout body. Types of African buffalo. African buffalo is divided into 4 different types, which are Cape buffalo, West African savanna buffalo, Central African savanna buffalo, forest buffalo. Different types of buffalo have differences in appearance, which we will discuss further. Appearance characteristics of African buffalo. Although the African buffalo is not genetically closely related to the cow, its large body and appearance are very similar to the cow. This animal has a big head, a wide chest, strong legs, and strong horns, and its strength is 4 times greater than that of a bull. Different types of African buffalo differ in horn shape and relative size. The most common type of buffalo is the Cape, which is covered with a dark brown coat of short, rough fur and has large horns that arch downward and then back, giving the animal a ram-like appearance. Savanna buffaloes are similar to Cape buffaloes, but their horns are slightly shorter, and the color of their body fur ranges from light brown to black. The forest buffalo is smaller than the other species and is characterized by light reddish-brown fur and short horns. In some cases, a savanna buffalo's fur is light brown before reaching adulthood, but most forest buffalo retain their color well into adulthood. Adult male buffaloes weigh more than 700 kg, and the distance between their nose and tail reaches 2 meters, yet they are able to run at a high speed of 60 km per hour. The biggest buffalo in the world. The largest African buffaloes in the world belong to the Cape subspecies. The average weight of males reaches 910 kg. Comparison of African buffalo with other buffaloes. In addition to the African buffalo, there are other types, called the blue buffalo in Asia and the American buffalo, which, despite the name similarity, have many differences. For example, the American buffalo has a completely different appearance. The horns of this animal are smaller, its body cover is thicker, and it has a ridge on its shoulder. The water buffalo is similar to the African buffalo in some ways, but there are also significant differences. For example, unlike its African cousins, it has been domesticated to a large extent, and people throughout China and India use this animal like cattle in other parts of the world. Almost all water buffalo in the world are domesticated, while almost all African buffalo are wild. Behavioral characteristics of African buffalo. The African buffalo lives in a herd and shows democratic and altruistic behavior in the herd. Buffalo herds are large and have between 50 and 500 members, mostly consisting of female buffaloes and their offspring. Sometimes, these herds are temporarily connected, forming herds of thousands of members so that lions and other big predators cannot harm them. One of the interesting movements of buffaloes is following the majority vote in the herd. When there are several paths to cross, the female buffaloes start moving in any direction they prefer, and the path chosen by the most is the path of movement. It will be a herd. Male buffaloes also periodically become members of bachelor male groups. In these groups, young and old buffaloes are separated, while the oldest buffaloes prefer to continue living alone. African buffaloes have a very fierce temper. and their attacks every year lead to numerous injuries and deaths, which is also called the Black Death. Buffalo's place of residence. The African buffalo survives in swamps, forests, and generally any area where there is water. The habitat of this animal is on the African continent, especially in the central and southern regions, and countries such as Sri Lanka, Ghana, Cameroon, Kenya, the Central African Republic, South Africa, Botswana, etc. Buffalo food. Buffalo is not a carnivore, contrary to its violent nature. But like many hoofed animals, it spends most of its time grazing and ruminating on its food like a cow. The African buffalo grazes most of the time at night, perhaps because it has difficulty regulating its body temperature. Enemy of buffalo. Although buffaloes have a number of natural enemies, their biggest threats are humans and a lack of food resources. Buffalo spends most of its time grazing, and for this reason, it is very vulnerable to starvation during drought. Natural predators of buffalo include lions and wild dogs that can hunt buffalo separated from the herd. The hunting of buffalo by humans is one of the main factors affecting the population of this animal. In addition, humans, through urban development, the creation of agricultural land, and urbanization, have destroyed the buffalo's habitat and made it harder for it to find food sources. However, buffalo starvation is also a serious threat to human life because hungry buffaloes attack crops, tear fences, and spread disease among livestock. The birth of the buffalo. The African buffalo mating season is between March and May. The pregnancy period of this animal lasts almost a whole year, and the female buffalo gives birth to a baby every few years. During the rainy season, a baby buffalo depends on its mother for a year after birth and usually reaches puberty after 4 or 5 years. After this period, female buffaloes remain in the herd where they were born, while males often join herds of single males. Male buffaloes do not have a direct role in raising the children, but the children have a special cry that makes all members of the herd rush to help them if they need it. Longevity of buffalo. A buffalo lives between 10 and 22 years in the wild and can live up to 30 years in the wild. Endangered buffalo. Buffalo has a relatively good population throughout Africa, but in recent years this population has been declining. In the past, the population of this animal was classified as an least concern, and but now it is labeled as an near threatened, and the loss of habitat due to agriculture. Urbanization and hunting by humans is one of the main reasons for the decrease in the population of this animal. Interesting facts about the African buffalo. The African buffalo has excellent eyesight to the extent that it can spot a lion from a distance of more than half a kilometer. Buffaloes protect the members of the herd well. When the herd encounters predators, the buffaloes form a circle around the children and older, weaker buffaloes and threaten the enemy by showing their large, sharp horns. African buffalo horns look like question marks. Male buffaloes have longer and thicker horns. The African buffalo is known for its exceptional memory. This animal can recognize a predator that has previously hurt it and attack it in the next encounter. Among the major African mammals, only the hippopotamus and the elephant seem to be more dangerous to humans than the buffalo. The head of the buffalo herd is determined by the strength, size, and age of the buffaloes. Although males are sometimes seen in buffalo herds, the core of the herd is made up of females. Scientists have discovered 5 main types of vocal communication in the African buffalo. Low-pitched calls 3 to 6 seconds apart are used to guide the herd. Many changes in this sound indicate a change in the direction of the herd. Buffaloes make a and quat, ma and quat sound when they reach water, which can be a sign of pleasure or contentment. This animal snorts and roars to show its anger, and when the herd is threatened by predators, sounds like and quat, wa and quat, are heard from it.